One of the major goals of this course is to reconfigure your brain so that you're thinking about programming in a way that is just going to work better in the real world. So in the previous lectures, we've talked a little bit about Java and the syntax features that I think will help with that. We talked about the idea of helper functions and how we can use those to manage complexity. But another critically important tool that we're going to be using right from the beginning of the course is testing. So this is inspired by the question, how do you know that your code works? Well, in prior classes that you've taken, it was probably because you had some kind of autograder. Like you fed your code to some autograder and it ran some mysterious procedure and gave you back a score. And once you had all the points, well, then you knew that your code was working correctly. But that's not how we're going to do things in this class for the most part. There'll still be an autograder, but I want you to have the tools so that you can verify your code correctness yourself. So in the real world, programmers, instead of having some magic oracle that tells you that your code's correct, they instead write tests themselves and they build confidence based on those tests. Now I should note that this process is not 100%, right? You can't know for sure, for the most part, that your code works for sure. And we know this because we hear about bugs in operating systems all the time, or like in major internet platforms, or like something goes wrong with some console, like a PlayStation, and there's some glitch that allows people to, I don't know, make copies of games or something. These are all examples of bugs that someone tried to catch but didn't. And that's, reality, right? You're not going to catch all your bugs. But even though it's not a foolproof process, it is enormously useful to be able to convince yourself that your code works. And so what we're going to see here is how to build tests in Java using a specific library called JUnit. And this entire approach of building tests for our own code, that will be our new way.
You are ready to be taught the new way. Will you help teach me about this? What is it?
New way.
A new way?
So you'll be playing the part of Coot and I will be Gene. That's not going to be easy to learn how to test. There's a lot of things you have to know how to do, and while it might look easy when I do it, you'll find that it's actually quite tricky in practice, sometimes tedious. So I'm hoping this video will get you appropriately pumped and ready to go with this difficult new task. All right. So to summarize what we're going to do in this lecture, at least, we need some task to solve where we can try out this new way. And so what we're going to do is write a sorting method where we give a method sort an array of strings, say he is the Agoyatis of Mr. Konkis, and it will destructively in place sort that string or array of strings. So that once this method is done executing, that array will contain Agoyatis Konkis, he is Mr. of the. So the old way, to reiterate, we had an autograder already built. You would write your sort method, the autograder would inspect it, and then output some stuff on gradescope.com. That would be about your algorithm and how well it worked. But today, what we're going to do, the new way, is going to be to write test sort ourselves in addition to sort. And as we'll do in a moment, even crazier, we're going to write test sort first before we've even thought about how to even go about sorting.